Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Finks.
And we're back, man. Episode 386.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. For all those that grew up on dial-up internet, you knew that you couldn't be on the phone at the same time or it would make that screeching noise. It sounded like it sounded like internet. Whatever you think internet sounds like, that's what it sounded like. And what's crazy is AOL just ended its dial-up service. I thought that it deleted that whole service many years ago. But
we've been on Wi-Fi for a minute.
I think we all just moved on from it, and we didn't realize some people were still taking advantage of it, which is crazy. So here's an article. Say bye-bye to the beeps and boops of AOL's dial-up internet service. Beep, boop, bop, scroops. Okay, that's what they wrote. Such as the sound of AOL's dial-up service, a marker of trying to connect to the internet in the 1990s. Now the company has announced it's getting rid of dial-up. AOL routinely evaluates its products and services and has decided to discontinue dial-up internet, its website says. The service will run up until September 30th. So it's still not down. Somebody is hearing screeches every motherfucking day. They got to be old. That's the only person that I could think of.
Yeah.
That's you know what? Maybe maybe we're wrong. What if there are stores that have old equipment that still use dial-up internet? Can you imagine, like, as far as the a service goes? What if like a store like Ross? Because have you ever looked at their computers that they use to like ring people up?
Yeah.
They still got those old ass screens with black and green letters. So I don't know if that takes internet. I don't know what it does. But if there is an internet connection, I don't think it would need anything outside of dial-up internet.
Yeah. I don't know where it is, but I do know that it's time. It's time to fossilize the dial-up internet. Yeah.
I mean, with the way things are going, I feel like we might start trimming the fat with a lot of, things that are happening. The price of everything is going up, and like dial-up as an option. Who knows? Dial-up might be on its way back because this is kind of like off topic, but we talked about Kendrick Lamar coming out with that the light phone, right? I feel like within the next,
people gonna revert to slower internet.
I think they're gonna not only revert to slower internet. I think they're gonna like not have any internet on the phone. Yeah. I think the internet will be for house use only again, and it's only because we are overly connected. Smartphones are ruining the planet, and we're getting too much information way too fast. It's a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
And it's weighed on everyone's mental health. And I think that ultimately, too, when it comes to the data, not data, but when it comes to all these fucking streaming services, they cost so much money that the need for high-speed internet is going to be less and less needed because we're going to start cutting this shit off.
I think that's the equivalent of, like, going back to riding horses around town.
Hey, man, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I do see that people are trying to like kind of lessen I think there's been a concerted effort to kind of lessen our screen time and stuff like that, which I've been a victim of myself. But yeah, I don't know about the dial-up. But it just was. I think that we live in a day and age where we're trying to speed up our lives, and I think that waiting for a page to load is just crazy. Like we talked about it. I think we talked about it before, but like just. When people was watching porn, the thing was just like loading like bit by bit. Like you see the eyebrows and then the eyes and then the nose.
Jacking off the dial-up internet was terrible.
Oh, terrible.
It's like I'm jacking off the one nipple, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
And then it gets you excited because it load up.
Yeah.
And then the nipple come back and then it come down. You be like, damn. I'm out of lotion. Please hurry up.
I done busted before I seen the vagina.
Damn.
It's like, dang.
Times is hard. Motherfucking internet go out. Back in the day, too, if you ever looked at anything inappropriate on the internet back in the day, you had to go clear them motherfucking cookies out.
Yeah.
Clear that search out, delete everything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember back in the day, I had a computer. It was a compact Presario.
Ooh, okay.
You remember those?
I remember them, yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were doing something. And then what's funny, as far as the internet goes, we used to have the internet trial where like, in order to use dial-up, I don't know if they had it. They didn't install it, I don't think. You just had to have
you just plugged it in.
You plugged it in. It was literally a phone cable, and it went
to be on the side of the laptops or whatever.
Yeah, and I forgot if it was a dual one, but it was the same one you plugged into your house phone. You plugged it into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think there was two. I think there was two plugs. One that went in the phone. One that went into the computer. And then whenever you make a call, you couldn't simultaneously do both.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
knew somebody was using the internet. If you was on a phone call, you knew somebody was using the internet because it'd be like, get off the phone.
Man, yeah. Yeah, I remember I got the little 7-day trial.
Oh, I had a lot of those trials.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the days. Back in the day, you used to get away with doing multiple free trials.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now they're tracking your email and your IP and stuff like that, so it's not as easy to do.
You remember the companies? It wasn't Expedia wasn't one of them, was it? No, it wasn't. It was
I don't remember Expedia.
I know it was Net Zero was one of them. Net Zero is like free internet.
Yeah.
75 hours of free internet. It's like we just here for the trial, man.
Yeah, the internet was so different back then because I could remember getting a trial and there was nothing really to do. You know, like you could play games on there. You could play like RuneScape and, you know, I would look up like Dragon Ball Z pictures and like just random stuff like that.
The internet was simple.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even like, to me, well, at least when I had looked up inappropriate stuff on the internet back then, it was just stills. It was like it wasn't videos.
Yeah.
It was just
pictures.
Just pictures.
Yeah. Especially like the superstars, like the more notable, like the Pamela Andersons and stuff like that.
Yeah, Playboy. I used to be on Playboy.com. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Like Playboy used to get me excited. And that's like the most clean version.
Yeah. Playboy did have some more riskier like photos though. Like sometimes they would have like some lighter stuff where it was just like bikinis and stuff, but then sometimes they would take it all the way.
Yeah, man. Those are the days, man.
Yeah, shout out to the dial-up internet, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be curious to know what they are actually using it for and who's the last person. You know how like Blockbuster, they had that one last Blockbuster. Who's that last person that's using dial-up internet?
I don't know. It's probably some elderly person like, leave my dial-up internet alone. I need my email. I need my email. What was it back? Was it Hotmail?
Yeah, they used to have a Hotmail.
Yeah, if you got a Hotmail fucking email, you are OGG. You are extra OG with that. Imagine there's probably some old man that has not gotten out of dial-up internet porn. He's like, oh, man, I'm paying for this. How much is dial-up internet? That's the question I have.
I seen this is AI, so who knows how valid it is. It says, while dial-up internet is a relic of the past for most, it's still used by a small percentage of people, particularly in rural areas where broadband infrastructure is limited.
Whoa.
It says AOL, once a major player in dial-up, is even ending its dial-up services, signaling a broader shift away from this technology.
Okay. I'm looking up another AI. Like I said, it might not be. You know, it says dial-up internet plans that typically cost between free within limited hours and around $30 per month. That's expensive.
$30 a month?
That's expensive. Hell yeah, $30 for dial-up? That shit should be like $10. And it says we'll provide. Oh, Net Zero's still doing it. Wow. With Net Zero and Juno offering various options. However, AOL's dial-up service has officially shut down as of September 30th, 2025, and overall dial-up internet is becoming increasingly rare, with most internet providers focused on modern broadband services. So AOL's going to be down, but Net Zero might still be doing the dial-up thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's probably money to be made, like they said, in rural areas.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We got to teach Keith how to say rural.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
This nigga's been using too much dial-up internet. It's fucking with his speech. Life is crazy, Keith. All right, let's move on. Switching gears. 1 in 4 millennials and Gen Zers say they won't have kids due to finances. Right? So, I mean, look, we've made it to a very dangerous time where when you go to McDonald's, and back in the day, you go to McDonald's, you could buy multiple combo meals, and it's like, okay, sir, that'll be 1972, and you got like 6 people in the car, and you haven't even spent $20. Now you're almost spending $20 for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's just one example of many different things of how expensive life is. All right, almost A quarter of millennial and Gen Z adults without children say they plan to stay that way. The reason? Money. About 23% of these adults ranging from 18 to 43 years old said their financial motivation to remain childless boils down to two issues.
That's not a Gen Zer, though.
No, Gen Z and millennials.
Oh, Gen Z and millennials.
See, that selective, that goddamn dial-up. Dial-up internet. All right. Ranging from 18 to 43 years old said their financial motivation to remain childless boils down to two issues: valuing the financial freedom that comes with not having kids, as well as concerns about their ability to foot the bill for raising children, according to a new survey from Mass Mutual. The findings come across the annual U.S. birth rate has slowed to the record low. Other research also points to how financial factors are influencing the decision to start a family. In a July survey, Pew found that Americans under 50 without children said they opted against kids for both lifestyle and financial reasons, such as wanting to save for the future or having more time for hobbies and interests. And to be sure, it's increasingly expensive to raise a child, with one study finding parents typically spend about $240,000 on each kid. God damn, from birth to age 18. That's 20% increase from 2016. Raising a family is financial commitment. It has always been blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's not necessary. Oh, man, that's just expensive, man. I think, like, as a person with no kids myself, I can speak very freely and say this. There are times where I'm like, yo, and mind you, I make decent money. I don't got it like that, but I do okay. And I'm like, you know what? If I had a kid, I would need to make more money.
Yeah.
Just based on basic math. Because, man, things, like I said, things are expensive, man. Where was I at? Oh, dude, the other day, I was headed out to Riverside, and I stopped my truck at the truck stop to grab me a 6-inch sub. I was like, I don't feel like eating a foot long. I'll just grab the 6-inch, right? So I go in there, and that shit was $9, man. Mm-hmm. $9 for 6-inch sub. Mm-hmm. We got a foot long back in the day for $5.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, like, I just don't, I'm mind boggled. And mind you, back in the day, older people were the ones that complain about prices being expensive. Mm-hmm. Now it's everybody. That's how you know the prices have changed. Yeah. Like, you'll hear like an older person back in the day, they'll be like, back in my day, gas was only 18 cents a gallon. I don't understand why it's $1.99 now. Mm-hmm. Right? But now I just turned 40 years old. It's not like I'm fucking 60. And I grew up on reasonably priced products.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane, man. Mm-hmm. Honey buns was $0.25. Mm-hmm. You know how much it costs to get diabetes now? It's expensive. Like, my God. Like, you can't even afford enough honey buns to get diabetes. That's fucking crazy. What are they now, dude? $1.25 or something? $1.50?
I don't know how much honey buns cost. Maybe like 75 cents.
Yeah. Oh, dude, have you seen the honey bun challenge? Mm-mm. Dude, the honey bun challenge on TikTok is insane. Basically, the challenge is, I think they got like a minute or I think they have 2 minutes to smash 4 honey buns together and eat them. So you got to take 4 honey buns, smash them together, and you got to eat them in under 2 minutes.
Dang.
And people are not being able to do it.
You should try it.
I won't be doing that. That's going to cost me my health. Hold on, let me just to verify real quick. We're going to get back into it. Honey bun challenge. Okay. There's no articles on it, so I don't think it's that important anymore. But yeah. It's an ongoing thing. People are getting sick. Anyways.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it's smart. I think that when it comes to millennials and Gen Z, I think that these are kids that have learned, and they're not. Some of us are not kids anymore. But these are a generation that have learned from the mistakes of their forefathers. So I believe that some of the boomers and people that are like 50, 60, 70 years old, these are people that were living by some type of societal norms. So they were having children by a certain age. They were getting married by a certain age. They were trying to have like the family with the white picket fence. And they were trying to just live a certain lifestyle that wasn't necessarily appropriate for where they were at in life. So I think a lot of people, my parents included, were probably not in the best financial position to have a kid. Yeah. And, you know, I appreciate my parents for bringing me in this world, but at the same time, like, I know that my situation growing up was not ideal.
Yeah.
There were times where
Growing up poor is painful.
We're moving back in with my grandma, or, you know, we just lived in an apartment for a while and then all of a sudden we don't live there no more. Or, you know, there was items that my mom had in storage that we had to give up because she couldn't afford to pay it. And like, these are all things that come with just being broke and having kids, you know, and that is what it is. And I think most people they try their hardest to try to make it work. And I also don't think that you should not have a kid because, you know, you're not like extremely wealthy, because I think there's a lot of love that, you know, people want to give, and, you know, that they can give without being like the most financially stable person. I just think for me personally, I just wouldn't want to be on a struggle bus trying to raise a kid. So, you know, for myself, I just, you know, I want to be in a position where I can, you know, I don't have to worry about nothing. And I think it was saying something like $700 a month to support your kid. And I think that's kind of where I want to be able to do that without even blinking, you know? Well,
this it's different when you come from a different vantage point. When you grow up and you have to struggle, you don't want to do that in your own version. I'm not going to do that. I never want to tell my kids, oh, we don't have enough money for that. I think a lot of times when you grow up poor, sometimes your parents normalize telling you shit like that, but it's trauma. It's financial trauma. We don't got McDonald's money. We got food at the house. It's like, dude, a combo in the 90s is like $2.79. You don't got $3?
Right.
And I'm not even trying to be, you know, God bless my dad. You know, he passed, and, you know, my mom and everything, but y'all was just poor. That's the truth. Y'all was just poor, man. And the thing about it is you have to live with the fact that you can't afford anything. Like you're priced out of everything, and you may see your friends getting stuff. And I'm not saying that it's all about what other people have. It's just the fact that even basic necessities, you don't have the fucking money for it, man. Yeah. I used to see kids with a JanSport backpack and a Trapper Keeper, and I thought they was rich. Mm-hmm. I had friends that were in different, like, I guess you could say, like, different, I guess, like, socioeconomic states than I was, like different financial states. And you go over their house, they got a pool, they got a pantry full of snacks. I remember I asked, like, yo, can I have a high C or no Squeeze-Its? Remember those Squeeze-Its back in the day? Mm-hmm. I was like, can I have another Squeeze-It? And, you know, your friend's mom would look at you like, it's food. You're supposed to eat it.
Yeah.
And you thinking, like, it's not like this in my house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like everybody is, like, having to ration off food because they don't have any fucking money.
Right.
It's a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And I've seen it both ways. There's been times where we were doing pretty decent, but there were more times where we were just poor, couldn't afford shit.
Right. But that's part of it, man. That's the ups and downs that comes with it. Most of those people that are well off, they don't really have to deal, or even if they do have a down moment, they have enough kind of saved up to where it don't look like they, you know, struggle. Like they not moving out of their house because they can't afford to pay their mortgage and stuff. My motivation to, also be more financially stable in, marriage or as a parent or anything is simply because I feel like my family deserves to experience good things. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like my wife we deserve to go on a trip somewhere. We deserve to eat at good restaurants. We deserve to wear decent clothes. We deserve to have our kids looking good at school. Mm-hmm. We deserve to be able to pay for their sports and their travels teams and things. We deserve to be able to give our kids allowances if they're good kids. That's the reason why I want to have money, so I could use it as a tool to empower my family and my wife. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, it's just like, damn, if there are some people that can't see the light. Mm-hmm. I think me and Keith are fortunate for this reason. Keith has a decent job. I have a decent job. Therefore, we're at a way better starting place than these people. Yeah. Do you know how it feels to go to work and you've been making quesadillas all day at McDonald's or at Taco Bell, and you can't find a job because you have entry-level skills, and niggas is talking to you about kids? Unless I can feed these kids enchiladas, enchiritos, and burritos from Taco Bell, I can't provide anything. Mm-hmm. All I got is dick and cheeseburgers that I could get. I can't give my wife anything. I think for me, I definitely want to make my point of view known that it's like I understand that there's a there's a world out there where there's a couple and they may have minimum wage paying jobs and they want to have a child just because they just want to, extend their family or, create a family or something of that nature. I just think that there's a lot of situations where that, not necessarily that situation, but there's a lot of situations where people are putting their child at a disadvantage when they're bringing somebody into this world and they don't really have the means to support them. And that the situation I talked about with the kind of 2 minimum wage jobs and stuff like that, that's not the ideal situation, but it's not the worst situation.
Yes.
There are situations where people ain't got no job and they about to have a baby and they got to figure it out and they trying to apply for jobs and you ain't got you don't have no health care and all these other things. It's just a conversation that needs to be had, because I think that there are too many people that are bringing children into this world without no real plan. And I think that that's a huge dilemma. That's why, not the the ultimate reason, but that is part of the reason why certain neighborhoods tend to look the way they do, is because a lot of these people keep bringing children into this world without really having a plan on how to help them or in a plan so that their generation is much better than what they were brought into. That, I think that's the plan. I feel like with my grandma, she came into this world, she was 12 years old, having kids. She ain't got no education or nothing like that. All she knew was really just how to have kids and how to get by. And then, in turn, she raised my mom. Fast forward, my parents have children, and she instilled a fraction of her, along with my grandma, my dad's mom, instilled a fraction of what education should look like, and the benefits of it. Not in a grandiose way, not in a way where it's you're going to college and this is how you get there, but more so in hey, you should get good grades kind of thing. And then, ideally I take that to the next level to where I have a career and things like that so that I can support a family. But yeah, that's what it looks like, and I could probably take it back a few more generations to where, take it back to slavery and things like that, where they're just getting their freedom. And then from getting their freedom, they trying to figure it out and do different things like that. And I don't know my whole history, but I'm just saying it's a journey to right the wrongs of having a child and bringing them into a less than ideal economic situation.
Yeah, man. I think I hated growing up poor, but I think in retrospect, it made me not only more appreciative of everything that I have now, but it also taught me if everything was to go downhill, I would know how to adjust. Mm-hmm. Whenever you grew up with nothing, you learn how to live like that. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for the people that grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth and then their world goes crashing on them and now they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, bro, whenever we was strapped on money, we always knew how to live, because we had more outlets back then. When you're poor, there were certain stores you went to. We used to go to the 99 cents only store. Mm-hmm. We'd go in there with $25, $30 and we could eat off that shit for almost a week. Mm-hmm. We get sandwich meat, bread, chips, drinks, everything, and it would come around $20-something with me and my dad. Growing up with a single dad and y'all poor, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. Mm-hmm. Also, too, when, especially, when your father's not in the best position at the time and he's frustrated with what's going on, sometimes he could lash out a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's times where I was getting yelled at, when all I needed was a hug in that moment, but when you don't have your mother there or you don't have balance, that's why I believe in family, too. I think that when you don't have a man and woman in the house is imbalanced. Mm-hmm. If you just got a woman in there, you're getting a bunch of female, tendencies and things of that nature. And man, you're getting just a bunch of anger sometimes when you need to have a level head. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like having a solid man and woman in the house is important. And I think that now we need to get to the basics and learn how to collaborate as men and women again. I think we've gotten too used to these broken homes. This shit's not normal. I'm not here to chastise anybody that's a single mother or anything of that nature. But the truth of the matter is, you do have an imbalanced house. I mean, as a woman, you cannot tell a young man how to be a man. You could do your best. There's tons of women that do a great job with their sons. However, they're still missing a masculine, male, responsible figure in the household. It's a lot of men get older, and they had their mom, and it'd be some stuff that they can't do for the women that they meet.
Yeah.
In some cases, I mentioned this. In some cases, women will overly nurture a young man. Sometimes a young man need to get kicked in his ass. You can't just baby this guy. You love him to death, but he's going to get older, and instead of looking for a woman, he's going to look for another mommy. There's a lot of men like that. We was talking about that earlier before the pod, low key, like indirectly, about just in certain situations where men are not making women feel safe and things like that. Yeah. But if they had a masculine figure in the house, it would be second nature. You wouldn't need to do that. But I just think sometimes that's how it happens. But to make a long story short, niggas is broke. They can't get no kids now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody going to In-N-Out Burger, and that's like their last money until they get their paycheck, and they're like, I can't even think about kids.
Yeah.
I can't even afford a double right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of the broke conversation was one thing, but also just some of the people our age is saying like, hey, I enjoy traveling. I don't necessarily want to be tied down.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is identity. I think a lot of it is that there are people that are our age that are saying, I'm not necessarily defined by a child. And there are still some people that have those things. Like you hear women all the time like, oh, I just feel like I was born to be a mother and things like that.
Yeah.
Which, I think it's scientifically like everybody was kind of designed to just kind of keep
there's a way that men
life.
There's a way that men and women do that though that's also very selfish. Like you're bringing a kid into this world with conditions that probably don't best suit that kid. Being like in a single parent situation, like I grew up like I mentioned, with my dad. He was a single father. It wasn't the best situation. Preferably I would have my parents together. They were together until they had split, but it was a much better situation with my mom and dad together. Like if you're a woman and you say, I just feel like I was born to be a mother, and I don't need a man in the house, and it's like you're speaking for your kid. That's not right.
I don't think any woman is saying that.
Shit.
I think women grow to that. Like,
right.
I don't think any young woman is saying like I'm a mother. I don't need no person. I think they kind of like
grow to that.
They get jaded and they get to that point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, the result you still landed at a place that is probably not best.
Right.
Because I think how do I put this? I've even had women that I've talked to and asked me, hey, what do you think about kids? And mind you, they asked me about kids, and we were really not in the space that we should be talking about kids because we were not serious. And I was like, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, who knows? I think that my conversation about kids with a woman is going to be with someone that I'm very serious with.
Yeah.
Not just some girl that we're hanging out and just having sex, but I think that in some cases, there are some women that be like, he would be a good dad, but we don't have to be together, but he'd be a good dad.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't believe in just having visitation. I want to be a full-time father. I want to be sleeping in the same bed as my wife. I want to be in a home with my kids in the room. I want to wake up and have breakfast and drive my kids to school. I do not want to be a part-time dad. That is not on the agenda for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I think for me, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, is that I am like one of those millennials, and I don't not like the definitive like I'm not having kids because of this reason, but more so like strategically, I want to be in a situation where I have my ducks in order. Yeah, I have this support system to support bringing a child in this world, and so that they would have a a much more further
Right.
along upbringing than myself.
Objectively speaking, though, I don't want to overstep, but objectively speaking, you and your wife are in a much better position than most people your age. I'm just keeping it like you both are in a better position than most people your age. So if you just had a kid, I think that your starting spot is a lot better than most Americans.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I feel like
well.
the foundation between you and your wife and the situation you guys have, the living situation, the car situation, the job situation, it is a whole lot more stable than a vast majority of American people. But I think that's because it was intentional on both of y'all part. And I think that's the way it should be. You know, and people say, well, in a perfect world, that sounds fine, and it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I mean, I think at least in a man's life, we have at least one pregnancy scare, right? But outside of that, you learn to be more responsible.
Yeah.
Right. If you make it out of that, right? If it's,
you survive the scare.
In my case, it wasn't mine. So I was like, thank God. Yeah. I wasn't like, thank God. I was like, thank God. But I was scared. Oh my God. When I thought I almost had a kid, I almost lost my fucking mind. I said, no way, dude. There's no fucking way. There's no way I use protection. There's no way. You know, unless it blasted through that condom, there's no fucking way.
Yeah.
For all those that been through a pregnancy scare, it's I mean, the way that I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like my breathing stopped. Like literally. I felt like my breathing stopped, but I could like hear my heart through my ears, bro.
Dang.
Yeah, nigga. It was like it's like everything starts slowing down around me. And I got the scare while I was at work. So this is before I was truck driving. I was working like a what do you call it? Like an office job basically. And then somebody mentioned the subject, and they said, "Oh yeah, she's pregnant," you know, blah blah blah. And me and her have been fooling around a lot. Right?
Did the person know y'all was messing?
I was really private about it. Me and her were very private about it. And they were like, "Oh yeah, she's pregnant. Like she just found out she was pregnant." And I was like, "Oh my God!" And then me being naive, I'm thinking like, "Oh, I'm the only one that's fucking her." Right? I'm like, "Oh yeah," like, and
you start thinking about baby names, all kind of stuff.
No, I didn't think about baby names. I thought about
gender reveals.
Yeah. So I went back into a cubicle where nobody was, and I called her, and she didn't answer the phone. I said, "Oh fuck no." So then I called her again, and she's like, "Yes," and I was like, "Hey, so I just heard you were pregnant." She's like, "Eddie, it's not yours, Eddie," and I was like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah, no, it's not yours, Eddie. It's not." And I was like, okay, right? And I was like, dang, because even after that, I was like, okay, whew, it's not mine.
Yeah.
But like after she had a baby, I was like looking at pictures.
You make sure you had to double check.
Yeah, I had to double check. I was like, okay.
Make sure that,
I was like, those kids, his lips aren't big enough.
Yeah.
All right, it's not mine.
Yeah. That's funny.
He doesn't have a podcast mic. It's not my kid.
That's hilarious.
He's not wearing a Dodgers hat. That's not my son.
That's funny.
All right, let's move along. Switching gears. Man, this is a tough one. Man in U.S. illegally charged with after crash kills 3 on the Florida Turnpike. So let me describe what's happening here. There are certain things that confirm people's biases. Obviously, we know of the current landscape of America and the ICE agents that are rounding people up and getting them out of here. And I think that this situation here is not only going to make it harder for truck drivers, but also people who are, immigrants. But in this case, this person was illegally in this country and they killed 3 people. So this is all the confirmation bias you need if you're a person that's like very right leaning, that's saying we need to, get the border stronger. This person actually, what the heck? Oh, my phone's tripping. Anyways, this person is not here legally, and it's proving their point. So that's the scary thing about this here. Yeah, so let me go ahead and check this article out. It went off my damn phone as I was talking here. It says something, oh, your phone may have a virus. Anyways, here it is. Oh God, it starts off hot. An illegal immigrant has been arrested.
That's the interesting part of that thing is the illegal part is such a huge part of the whole conversation.
Yeah.
They don't actually care about the people that passed away.
They don't.
At least in the tone of it. They care that somebody that wasn't supposed to be in this country, and then they killed those people.
Now, let me say this. Let me preface everything with this. There are a bunch of bad American drivers, right? With companies like Swift, companies like CR England, companies like Knight, with terrible fucking drivers with not very good training, right? That are also killing people. But these guys happen to be Indian, and there's a narrative around Indian truck drivers that they're dangerous drivers and they do this and they do that. Now, I've seen some dangerous Indian drivers. I'm not going to cap, but I've seen drivers that are very patient, respectful, kind. They let you get over, right? I'm, especially as a black man, I'm not going to be the one that's doubling down on, Indian drivers. I will say it's a lot of dangerous ass drivers out there, and they happen to be here illegally, which makes this story worse. But this is the article here. We'll probably get another one, but this is bad. An illegal immigrant has been arrested in connection with a deadly crash in Florida's Turnpike. The crash occurred around 3 p.m. on Tuesday near Fort Pierce. Troopers said semi-truck tried to make a U-turn, which is fucking crazy. They stopped on the interstate. They slowed down and tried to complete a U-turn in the middle of the goddamn highway. So I don't think that this guy had properly obtained a CDL, right? So they got people that literally go to CDL farms and they pay for the CDL and they just put them on the road. That they're like, it's going to be so hard. I feel so bad for people that want to get a commercial driver's license because it's about to be bad. It's going to be so fucking. It's going to be like getting a college degree to get a CDL now.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's important, man.
Yeah,
risking people's lives.
Absolutely, but I mean, when it's no different than like police officers, right? Whenever enough bad cops do illegal, fucked up shit, they fuck it up for all the other cops that just do their job. So now you got cops that they all got to wear body cameras and all this stuff, and it's because of a bunch of rogue cops that didn't do their job right. Now with this, when you get enough drivers that are doing very dangerous maneuvers on the fucking highway, you're going to make it worse for everybody else. So this says troopers said a semi did a U-turn in an official use only area, causing a minivan to crash into the truck. 3 of the minivan's passengers died. The driver, Hajinder Singh, has been charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide. Officials said he entered the U.S. illegally by border crossing in U.S.-Mexico border in 2018. 3 people lost their lives as a result of recklessness.
How do they know that, though?
I don't know. They must have dug into his history. I have no idea. And countless friends or family members will experience the pain and loss forever. Hajinder Singh is in custody on a state vehicular homicide charges and immigration violations. He will no longer be able to damage and destroy the lives of Floridians and visitors. Okay, whoever wrote this article was very conservative. I can tell that. I can always tell liberal or conservative biases based on how it's written. And I hate that. I just hate that we can't objectively speak. And me as a truck driver the last 10 years, I will say across the board, drivers have gotten worse. Drivers don't take pride in their jobs anymore. They don't properly pre and post trip the trucks. They follow way too closely behind other cars. They're speeding way too much, and they just make up their own rules. A lot of the OGs that were in the trucking industry when I first started, those guys started retiring. I'm considered the veteran driver now. Even though I just turned 40, I'm still considered a younger driver, but I take pride in my job.
Right.
And the shit that I see, it's not right. You got drivers throwing shit bags out the window, piss bottles everywhere. They're urinating at the freaking at the truck stops. Instead of going inside the truck stop, they fuel up and they just start peeing at the fuel island.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, bro, that load is not that serious. It's not that serious, man.
They be moving like they got a ticking time bomb or something like that.
The worst shit that I've seen, I will say this, as a driver that's been driving 10 years, there's some stories I've heard of Indian drivers. Where there was a guy he's a lube tech, right? And when drivers pull into the truck stop to get their oil change, obviously you have to inspect underneath the truck, make sure there's no leaks or anything like that. Well, one of the drivers or one of the lube techs basically went up under the truck and they noticed that there was a hole within the cab of the truck that ran down and there was a bunch of shit smeared underneath the truck. They were shitting through the hole. This is no lie. I swear to God. Right?
Yeah.
And I would think that I think there's cultural differences between other drivers. In some countries, people work nonstop. They work hard. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there are people, even that they come from those countries, they take pride in their job and they don't do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the loop tech said there was shit underneath the truck that ran all the way back, and they refused service.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But these narratives have existed in regards to Indian drivers. I have to be honest. However, I'm not going to be the guy to sit there and say, oh, all they do is this. They drive like this and they do that. Because especially as a black man, I'm sure that people have their mind made up about me when I go up into places. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm sure that they've probably dealt with like a black guy at a job or something that was irresponsible. And then now that confirmed their bias enough to where when I walk my black ass in there, they think I'm a fuck up. Mm-hmm. And I'm just doing my job. Mm-hmm. But I can't do that. What I will say is this. The guy did not have his legal citizenship. How much did that have to do with the death? Unfortunately, it had a lot to do with it because this is the point that they can make that will make their point. If he was not in the United States, that accident would have never happened.
Yeah.
That proves their point. No matter how much I don't like it, I don't have to like it. Unfortunately, it stands up. And it sucks.
Yeah. I think the thing here, I don't think that there's much of a story here outside of the actual article, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because the story really is there's a person driving a truck and he made an illegal U-turn.
Right.
And he killed 3 people. Like that's the story, which is like not a nationally, like the story that wouldn't make national news, but because the way that they kind of flip this story to kind of make it more so about this person that is an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
All while there's these ICE raids going on and, you know, Donald Trump is promoting sending illegal people back to their country. I think that's why this is a conversation. So I think that, you know, this guy in itself, like, I don't really have much to say about like the politics of it all. I would say RIP to, you know, those 3 people that lost their lives, because that's a tragic way to lose. And I could only imagine what that looks like. You're going full speed on a highway, and then you just crash into somebody that's just doing something completely stupid. But yeah, they have a nice little cot in prison for this man, and it's not going to be in America. It's going to be somewhere else.
Yeah. I'll say this too. I think that whenever I don't know if that was necessary. I don't know if that was necessary information about that guy being here illegally, but I think that now what it does is it takes, how do I put this? It turns a person's death just into a part of the story. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a story to you. You don't genuinely care about the people that died. You just basically wanting to push your narrative.
Yeah, it's kind of propaganda.
Yeah, it's propaganda. It's no different than when people just randomly bring up like LGBT situations into something that has nothing to do with anything LGBT. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait a minute here. Mm-hmm. Right? It'll be like, yeah, I love this restaurant. It's good. But I heard they're not LGBT friendly over there. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Like the sticker. Yeah, put the sticker on your restaurant now to let people know if you're friendly or not.
It's great. Like, it's the very left and the very right find ways to spoil everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's there are people out here that exist that simply don't want to oversaturate every story with something that is leaning political. And I think that this accident is going to cause legal racial profiling now. Mm-hmm. So if they see an Indian guy and they think that, he's probably not here, they could just pull him over and check his citizenship right there.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. It's going to be legal racial profiling. Mm-hmm. You know how I knew this shit was getting serious, Keith? It was last year, I think it was at the top of the year in January. The ICE, when they was in Bakersfield, when I got to work, I had to fill out a document proving I was an American citizen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never had to do that in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I've literally never had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. I think that the difficult part about these kind of situations is that when you do have an accident like this, or you do have a situation like 9/11 happen where you have people coming into this country to do harm, and on 9/11 may be intentional. This one is kind of, I'm gonna say he didn't intentionally kill people.
It's irresponsible.
Just his ignorance did. But when you have those type of situations, it doesn't make it easier for the people that are trying to come here in like a more of a humane way, right? Because when you have like the people in 9/11, for instance, I know that a lot of the Middle Eastern people were getting profiled and stuff like that when they were trying to catch a plane. So
absolutely they were.
You just like, you know, that's how it is. Just like a few people ruin it for everybody.
It's not even that a few people ruin it for everybody. What it is that there's already a racial bias there. But when you confirm that racial bias by doing anything, then now it's true now. Now there's enough examples of it for it to live up. Mm-hmm. And it's fucked up. Like after 9/11, there was a lot of Muslim people that were being like targeted and being like, instead of like looking at like a Muslim extremist and a person that just, you know, practices Islam, people was like, they either didn't know the difference or they didn't care to know. Mm-hmm. There was people, what do they call it, a mosque, right? Where the Muslims pray and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Man, it would be a mosque pop up and they're like, and this one dude was at City Hall. And I remember seeing this on YouTube. He said, I don't want them building that thing on here just so they could plan a terrorist attack. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you that fucking detached, man?
Yeah, that's it.
It's bad. It's like, and I remember my trainer, I had this trainer, this motherfucker was racist as fuck, but he figured since he wasn't talking about black people that he could get away with it, right? Mm-hmm. Swear to God, this motherfucker would tell me shit, bro. Mm-hmm. He said, man, there's a lot of Indian drivers, man. There's so many drivers. Mm-hmm. You know, honestly, I don't feel comfortable. I think they're planning a terrorist attack, man. I think they're trying to take out Americans. This is in 2015.
Yeah.
And I just ignored. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Is that right? Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can't feed into that.
Yeah, you can't feed into that. I'm like, and then he say something about Mexicans or something because I'm black. He just think that's gonna fly. If I wasn't here and it was somebody else, you'd be talking about black people.
For sure, yeah. To the Mexican dude, he would be talking to.
Yeah, you think I'm fucking stupid, bro? Mm-hmm. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. Right? And I had to be in the truck with that guy for like well over a month. Like 2 months I was in the truck with this guy. Mm-hmm. His feet smelled fucking horrible.
Oh.
Horrible smelling feet. Dude was racist.
Got fungus in there.
Yeah, dude was a straight racist. But his wife and kids were awesome. I met his wife and kids. I felt bad for his wife. Like, why the fuck did you marry this dickhead? And his son was cool, and his daughter was cool, and then they had their son-in-law that came over. They was cool folks. Mm-hmm. We was just like laughing, and I think he started like getting kind of like jealous or mad at me because like his wife and his son and his daughter, we was all watching movies in there because we did what's called a 34-hour reset, and he lived in Sacramento, so we did a 34-hour reset at his home. Mm-hmm. And, I washed my clothes. His wife washed my clothes, made me a bomb-ass dinner. I hadn't eaten good food like that in months. Mm-hmm. I remember she made grilled steak and grilled chicken, and she made the most bomb vegetables, bro. Mm-hmm. Like these, like, roasted vegetables. And I was just tearing into that shit. And she was like, oh, you need more food, don't you? I was like, it's okay. I haven't even finished yet. She's like, let me bring you more. I know you need more. Mm-hmm. I was eating that up. We were watching movies, and he just had this look on his face like he just hated it. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. I can't wait to get off this truck. Yeah. I never wanted to beat somebody up so bad in my life, bro. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, he's just mad. Somebody brought his family joy.
Yeah, I've did. Somebody brought his family joy, and you got a problem with it. I'm gonna say this, right? If his wife was younger, I would have replaced him.
Oh,
okay. You lucky I didn't replace you. They would have had a black dad. They would have been a lot happier than having your grumpy fucking Homer Simpson. God, that guy was a dickhead. His son was really cool though. He used to talk so much shit about his son. Like before I even met his son, he's like, yeah, he's 18. He just doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. He can't get his life together. I don't know what's going on. I said, but he's really young, man. He's still got to find his way. And he's like, yeah, whatever that means. But, when I was his age, I had a direction. These kids don't have any direction. And I'm thinking like, bro, he just turned 18. Nobody knows what their whole life's plan is at that age. And then I remember I talked to his son, and I was like, so, like, do you have any, you have any idea what you want to do? Because I told him I just turned 30, and, I'm driving trucks now. He's like, really? He's like, I didn't think you were 30, bro. I'm like, yeah, I'm 30. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just barely getting to crossroads myself, but this is what I want to do. And he's like, oh, that's great, man, And then this nigga looked angry when I was talking to his son. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, I will say this. I'm not one to jump on all the like stories about people's relationships, but for any woman that's dealing with that, like, you got to get rid of that guy. Go find a black father. Go find a black father to replace that guy and get him out of the house. Go find your local Jamal. There's a Jamal somewhere waiting on a warm home that needs white stepchildren. All right, there's that.
Oh, man.
All right, enough of that. What happened, Keith? What did I do? Oh, God.
Oh, man, this guy's crazy.
All right, man, let's switch gears. Switching gears, Dollar General. Dollar General coffee has glass shards in it. That's so fucked up. You can't get a deal on anything anymore. All right, you got the plug in?
Yeah.
All right, let me go plug this in because it'll give you guys an idea of, oh, crap. Man. Give you guys an idea of what we're talking about here at the Dollar General. Let me run that back here. All right. Oh, it's not playing.
Is it plugged in?
No, it's plugged in, but it's not playing.
Let me see.
Here.
What the heck?
Yeah, if it's not playing, I'll just plug it in there. Hit play, see if it does it. Nope. I'll just do it over there. I don't want to hold the people up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Let me go ahead and run it back here.
Pay attention. Dollar General is announcing a voluntary recall of their Clover Valley instant coffee due to the potential presence of glass. Yes, glass in their coffee. Dollar General is recalling 3 lots of its 8-ounce Clover Valley instant coffee. This coffee was sold and distributed between July 9th and July 21st, 2025 in 48 of the 50 U.S. states. So if you buy coffee at Dollar General, this may be in your home right now. Here are the lot numbers of the instant coffee that's being recalled: L5163, L5164, and L5165. All of them have a best by date of between 12/13/2026 and 12/14/2026, and you can see these lot numbers on the necks of the bottles of coffee. And to get a better idea, this is what the Dollar General instant coffee looks like.
All right. So the brand is Cloverfield, right? And here's the thing. Can you imagine being poor, right? You're like, I'm poor. I want some coffee. I'm dead. Like, that sucks. That sucks, man. You can't even get anything for good value anymore. Mm-hmm. The Dollar General store, first of all, it's false advertising. Because back in the day when they said 99 cents only, the 99 cents only store, it was literally an oasis because everything in that store was 99 cents only. And then it kind of crept up a tiny bit. There were some items that were like $1.25 or, whatever the case, right? But in Dollar General's case, there's a lot of things that are not $1 in that store, right? But that coffee is only $1. And can you imagine living in the worst financial crisis and mental health crisis in American history, and you got $4, and one of the items you get is coffee so you could wake up and go to that job that you don't like, right? And that coffee is the only thing that motivates you to get up in the morning. You get a quick fix of that caffeine, right? That knockoff brand of coffee that you got from the Dollar General, and you pour it in there and you drink it, and you got glass in your throat now.
Dang.
That's not right, man.
Yeah.
That ain't right, man. And it's not right because they haven't pulled a lot of this shit off. I feel horrible for people, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't drink coffee, though. But I feel horrible for people because the only affordable thing that you got, you're killing us with it. And you know what's crazy? I noticed that everything that's affordable is just filled with a bunch of shit. Okay, the other day I went to Aldi, right? I went to Aldi, and I seen these fiber bars. I was like, hey, nothing's wrong with getting a little fiber in there. You know, got to make sure you keep your bowels regular. So I turned this box around, and I'm reading the ingredients. I'm a guy that likes simple ingredients. Once I start reading things and it sounds like a science project, I'm like, yeah, I ain't buying this shit.
Right.
So I turned the box around and it said aluminum phosphate. I said, aluminum phosphate? Let me Google search this shit. And then its original use is not for food at all. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, okay, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Real quick. Aluminum phosphate. This is what it says. Aluminum phosphate is a chemical compound typically appearing as a white crystalline solid used in various applications due to its thermal stability and other properties. It is found in nature as a mineral beryllinite. It's used in a diverse fields like pharmaceuticals, ceramics, and even as a food additive. Oh, okay, as a food additive. That doesn't mean it's good, though. Pharmaceuticals. Aluminum phosphate is used as an excipient in drug formulations, improving drug stability and delivery. I think that they do a good job of making these chemicals sound like they're useless, but in large quantities they could be very harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff. I think that's I would say that that's kind of anything though. Like you can die from drinking too much water, you know. So I think that
drink more soda, y'all. You heard that?
Yeah.
No,
I was just thinking earlier. I was like, do you know those people that would just pull up to like, it could be like a morning meeting with like a Taco Bell Pepsi drink in their hand? You know those people that just like drink, like they'll stop at the drive-thru at McDonald's and just get like a Coca-Cola and just be like drinking it like it's water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like, how do you live your life like that? For the most part, like I'll go get me a drink, you know, like from Sonic every now and then or whatever. But very rarely have I ever just hit a drive-thru to get a Coca-Cola. Like, and people be doing that daily.
It's like, weird. Like it's I don't know why you could just get that from the store or something, like or from a machine. I don't know. Some people, like, this is not the 50s, man. You know, back in the day, they would like, you would pick a girl up, you pick her
get
up.
a pop.
Yeah, you pick her up in your 1957 Mustang, and you say, hey, Cheryl, I'd love to have a pop with you sometime. Yeah. And she's like, sure, let's go. And then you go to the drive-through or the drive-in, and they made soda differently back then. You see how they make it? How they used to make it?
With real Coke.
Well, not just with real cocaine, but they would actually have this it would be a liquid. They would have carbonated water, and they would squirt this liquid in there.
Oh, yeah, and then shake it up?
They would, no, not shake it. They would take like a stick, like a stirring stick that was made for that, and they would stir the soda up. And there was this food reviewer where they made the sodas like that. Actually, I think they make them like that at Woolworths. Like around the corner, we have a historic restaurant that's going to open back up. It's the only one in the United States, and it's right here in Bakersfield. Because I seen a girl on TikTok that's doing one of the, like, she's doing the grand opening for Woolworth.
Dang.
Yeah, I found her. She just, because my For You page has gotten so local now. But she's doing a grand opening for Woolworths.
That's fire.
Yeah, but I think they make sodas that way. They have
they got a lot of like old milkshakes and stuff like that. They still make over there.
They've been making milkshakes way before Khalees came around.
Yeah.
My milkshake brings other boys to the yard, and they like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours.
I could teach you, but I have to charge.
So she was talking about selling pussy. That's basically what she's saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
All the boys came to the yard.
She was ahead of her time talking about, this is way before OnlyFans. She was talking about selling sex. That was back in like 99, I think. Damn.
That's a long time ago.
Crazy, right? Am I wrong? Is the messaging wrong?
You talking about the song?
Yeah, she's like, I can teach you, but I have to charge. She's talking about sex, right?
This is what I would say. Some songs are like nonsense.
Yeah.
Like they don't really mean anything. They just sound good. So if anybody's giving you a breakdown on that song, like this is what a milkshake really means, it's lies. It was Pharrell and Khalees in the studio, and Pharrell made a dope beat, and then all of a sudden that they start mumbling words, and then milkshake came about, and then the rest is history.
Man, I seen Khalees on Instagram the other day. Jesus Christ, that woman is aging great. She's got like a permanent like raspy voice. Like, hey guys, I'm over here at my farm. I'm having such a great time with the lovely animals, and she always turns around in every video. She's got to turn around every time.
Yeah.
So usually she's bending over picking something up. It's like, Khalees, come on.
She was
come on, Khalees.
She was dating Bill Murray for a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Then he ghosted her.
Yeah. Well, I forgot the reference there.
Ghostbusters.
Oh shit! How did I miss that? God damn. You got me with that. You shouldn't even know that joke. Jesus Christ. Ghostbusters came around. You wasn't around yet.
Yeah.
Were you around?
I think Ghostbusters might have came out in the late 80s.
Yeah, late 80s.
Like 87.
I was barely around. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember who was Egon? One of them was Egon. I forgot the names. They had the one black guy.
Yeah.
He's still around. I forgot his name.
Yeah. He was just in the new. They did a new reboot of it. He was in the new one. I forget his name.
I haven't seen the new one with the girls. With
I didn't watch that. I heard
Melissa McCarthy and all them.
Yeah, heard it wasn't that good.
I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they do that with anything. Like, for example, like a cast that was all men, you make it all women, or a cast where it's like a white superhero, now the superhero's black. I don't like that.
I don't either.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah,
either.
not a fan of that. Like this.
I think that we talked about it before.
Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez was a person that kind of pointed this out also.
Yeah.
But keep the superheroes the same.
Yeah.
I will say that there are instances where you can mix it up and it doesn't feel weird. But when they did Michael B. Jordan in the Fantastic Four, he is, I don't know the character's name, but
is he Johnny Flame?
Yeah, Johnny Flame. His older sister is the invisible lady or whatever. Invisible
Mr.
woman.
Fantastic's wife?
Yeah. So when you have Michael B. Jordan black, and then you have to create a whole weird backstory that they're step siblings or if he was adopted, and it's just a mess. So I think the best example of turning a character black with some sort of creative integrity is when they made Miles Morales. When they made Miles Morales, you were able to introduce a new character that was still similar to Peter Parker, but it wasn't Peter Parker. And we still get a white Peter Parker, and then we get a Dominican and African American Spider-Man. So everybody's happy. But yeah, so I don't think anybody was mad at that. But I do see when people start to, get up in arms about, turning certain characters black, because I would kind of like, sometimes I'd be feeling them. I'm like, dude, that character doesn't need
it doesn't need to be in there.
We have enough black superheroes.
We need to lean into superheroes that aren't even that popular. Like, I like Bishop.
Yeah,
I feel like Bishop can have a whole backstory.
Yeah, I think Bishop would be fire.
Yeah.
I think the next one that people actually care about is, in terms of DC, I think one, you have the Black Superman, who was in the new 52. They did like a new rollout of some of the older characters, and similar to how they did Miles Morales, there's a black Superman. I forget his name. And then Static Shock. Static Shock is one that was like he's
original. Yeah.
When I was a kid, the TV show was much more popular than the actual comic book, but that is definitely a character that people have been kind of talking about. And I think that James Gunn is the new head of DC. He's a new head of DC. So he's starting to roll out, a bunch of different films and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I just don't want, if they do come out with a new black superhero, I don't want it to come out as something corny. Like, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Baby Daddy.
Oh, dang.
It's like man.
It's nigga boy.
Nigga. Thank you for saving my life, nigga boy. Go get me some water.
Oh man.
You know they talking that transatlantic
Yeah. That was funny.
It's nigga boy. Shine my shoes. It's like I'm a superhero. I don't shine shoes. Oh my God.
It's nigga boy. He got get away from the cop speed.
Oh man.
You know,
that was on Madden. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I heard, you didn't hear that very often, but when I heard it, I was like, what the fuck did he just say?
That is crazy. That's how you know. I think I'm not the DEI guy. I do think that diversity is important,
Absolutely.
but I think labeling it DEI just is very divisive. And it makes Republicans mad, and you never want to make Republicans mad.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, that we just need more black people in creative spaces because
they distort the narrative of black stories.
Not even that. I'm just talking about Madden. If a black man like myself or Eddie was in that room and we heard them say, oh, you know what would be cool? If the announcer said he's got to get away from the cop speed, we would be in there and just be like,
fuck no.
I just don't know if that's going to land well, so maybe we shouldn't put that in there.
Yeah.
Like, for example, me and my friends were in this group chat, and one of my friend's wives, she put in there, she said, hey, what do you guys think about leashes for children? And it's like 6 of us in there in total. And a couple of them were, just chiming in and stuff like that. And, a few of the women were saying before, I used to think it was bad, but now when I think about it, it's not that bad just to protect the child from running in the streets and, all these different things, right?
Right.
But in my mind, I was like, both of my friends are black and they're married to other ethnicities. Their women are other ethnicities. And I was thinking like, hey, it's probably not the best idea when you have a child to have this black little child running around with a leash on them. That's just not going to look good, especially if you're a white woman. So I say that to say the same thing if we're in these different creative spaces. If we're doing ad campaigns for said company, we could be in there and say like, hey, this is not the best thing for you to be saying if you want to alienate, black people or Hispanic people or whatever the case may be.
It's not even about being sensitive. It's just about being responsible. Like,
yeah, I didn't say anything about being sensitive.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm bringing up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm saying it's not about being sensitive in regards to, being in a room. It's just about being, knowing what other racial, just knowing when it's out of place. So, for example, imagine it's like you got 3 superheroes. One of them is Hispanic, and you're like, all right, in this scene, we want you to say, wow, I sure could go for some tacos and burritos right now. And it's like, man, if you don't take that shit out of the fucking lines.
Right, yeah.
Like, stop. Like, I remember Tyga. Tyga made some tone-deaf shit. He was like, I guess he was trying to make it in Spanish, but not really. Like, on the dresser, ay caramba, or something. And I'm like, this is garbage. Like, I mean, especially being out in California, like, you ain't around no Mexican. Like, I've never heard a Mexican person say ay caramba. That's like Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, it's tone deafness. It's basically what we're saying. Like, if you're gonna have somebody that's like a black superhero or Hispanic or Indian, whatever they are, have somebody in a room that can articulate that. If you got, imagine this. Imagine it's like a show about a family, like a white family in the suburbs, but it's written by an all-black writing room.
Yeah.
They're going to be missing some stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to be missing some stuff. And you're going to be able to tell. You're going to be like, the writers got to be black. They said nigga like 4 times.
Why is this white kid saying
Why
that?
is these white people saying that? Oh, that'd be crazy. I think that'd be a great idea for like a show that's like intentional satire. Like an all-white family that like speaks in like black, like not even ebonics, but they speak in like black tones the whole time. That would be wild.
Yeah,
that'd be wild. It would confuse everybody.
Yeah, but you would have to have the right people in the room because yeah. But yeah, I think that would be.
That sounds like really something. What's that writer? The white comedian. He's fucking hilarious. He wrote Dave Chappelle. He wrote like a lot of skits for Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Glasses.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Damn it! It'll come to me later.
Yeah. But I think that what you were saying about the all black writers writing for the white people, I think in general it's okay for you to write any story that you see. You know, if you're a white person and you want to tell this story about a black kid that grew up in Bakersfield, I think that that's okay. I think that because the only reason I say that is because me as a black creator, I don't want to be pigeonholed as to only writing black characters. But I do think it is important to have that perspective, though. Like if you're not necessarily from that culture, like say if I'm writing a story about like Hispanic people in LA or something like that, like I could probably technically get all the story correct, but it might be dope to have like a producer like a George Lopez or Eva Longoria or, you know, somebody that is from Los Angeles that is Hispanic to be able to kind of give those nuances that you may not know from not being from that culture. So I think that stuff is important. Same thing, like, for example, a white person wrote the movie King Richard, the Serena Williams, and, you know, he wrote that, and then Will Smith was able to be the producer on it. So, and then after that, that guy was able to go interview Serena Williams and Venus, and I don't know if he talked to the dad, but I know he talked to like the mom and stuff like that. So he was able to get more information just because he had more access because Will Smith was producing it. So, yeah. So I say that to say, I think we do need more people of the culture creating for the culture, but I also don't think we shouldn't be pigeonholed as to writing only for our culture.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on. Switching gears. PragerU Kids Children's History. All right. Is that thing working now or no?
It should have been working. It's plugged in properly and it's turned on. So
let's go ahead and give it a shot again. Okay, what you guys are going to listen to is basically Prager, which is a right wing outlet. To replace PBS, they put this up here, and it's like telling history from like a right wing vantage point. And let me go ahead and play the thing. Hopefully it pops up. Nope, it's still not popping up. So this is what we'll do. Go ahead and take that back. All right. Let me start it on over. Turn it up. All right.
Slavery is as old as time, and it's taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal? Slavery is as old as...
So what you heard is like, it's Christopher Columbus talking to a kid, telling him that in that time, slavery was seen as no big deal. Mm-hmm. And basically, this is no bullshit. And basically, he said, it's better to be a slave than to be killed. So literally, this is what they're trying to show kids. And Louisiana confirmed that they're going to put it in schools.
That's crazy.
This is just disgusting.
That's not the place for
Let me tell you something. We just had a little conversation about, things out of place. If they start putting black people and putting them in situations in history books that they really weren't, I would say, hey, that's historically inaccurate. That really shouldn't be in there. But when you got like Christopher Columbus and you got him as this good person, you clearly either don't know history, you're trying to cover it up. Christopher Columbus was the most disgusting piece of garbage there is. The dude was a rapist. He's a rapist and a killer and a thief. And this motherfucker has a statue. Christopher Columbus is like, it's like giving, if I said, let's build a statue for Bill Cosby, you'd be like, why? Columbus is worse, 10 times worse. Mm-hmm. And I think that these narratives they're trying to push, it's not holding any weight anymore because there's enough people that understand like legitimate American history. Mm-hmm. And it's disgusting. saying it was no big deal. Slavery was a big deal everywhere. They were abolitionists. They need to tell the story of John Brown. John Brown was a white man that was so pissed off about slavery, he started going into camps and killing people in mass groups. So there's no stories about John Brown. There's not enough stories about Nat Turner, who led a slave revolt. Nat Turner was so fed up with slavery that, and he was a preacher as well. But after his sermon, he took a knife and started killing everybody. He almost wiped out a whole bloodline out of a what do you call those houses? The freaking
plantation.
At a plantation. The only person that survived the bloodline that was out of the family that owned slaves, it was a baby that got threw in a closet and hidden. They threw a baby in the closet and hid the baby, and then everybody else in the bloodline died. And there was a family that was doing a documentary about Nat Turner's revolt, and they made it sound like Nat was a bad guy. No, your family was a bunch of fucking thieves and rapists. So they died justly, unfortunately, but that's what it is. And I think that what happens is when we tell this history, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because we're trying to rewrite a narrative. Just tell the truth. History, good or bad, it's supposed to be out there for people to see. You can't keep doing this shit. It's irresponsible in 2025. It is very irresponsible. And the thing about it too is there are people in this country that don't know that the first victims of domestic terrorism were black people in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. They got bombed with kerosene bombs. They dropped bombs from planes on affluent black communities. This is not made up. You can fact check everything that I'm telling you. But the fact that these things are not told, it's disgusting. The fact that people don't know about Lake Lanier, Lake Lanier before was a striving black community. It was called like Goversville, or I forgot what it was called. But it was an affluent black community that was literally flooded. They basically opened up lakes and flooded this place out, which is disgusting. Lake Lanier is still there. And underwater, when you take radar, you can see bridges underneath the water. You can see houses underneath the water, everything. The history is literally lying beneath the lake. Go, and there have been numerous missing people who have died over the years at Lake Lanier. That is also, and that's not made up either. Actually, Childish Gambino on his show on Atlanta, it was a little snippet of him talking about Lake Lanier. I don't know if you caught it.
Yeah, the episode takes place. Yeah,
and he said, and they alluded to like there being mysterious things and people missing in that lake, and that's not like hyperbolic, or it's not like made up. Like people literally went missing after they went into Lake Lanier. I'm not trying to say that there's like some conspiracy there, but I am here to say that there is dead bodies under Lake Lanier. That is a fact. There are dead people underneath Lake Lanier. And it's very strange, the whole story. But to make a long story short, you get a chance, go to Google, look up Lake Lanier Black Community, and it will have all the different stories involving that and other thriving black communities that were flooded out due to fucking racism. And I think what happens too is when you're black and you ever mention anything about race, you get invalidated. Because like all black people talk about is race. Let me be clear, I don't. But I think whenever I see stories like this, where they got Christopher Columbus talking about slavery was no big deal. Like, suck my dick, motherfucker. Yes, it was. Hundreds of years of people being forced into labor is a huge deal. They had to choose between death or being a piece of property? Get out of here. Save that bullshit. There were people that were jumping off the ships, killing themselves because they didn't want to be slaves. There was Native Americans that were choosing to end their own lives because of how horribly they were being treated. There were so many Native American women that couldn't even give birth because they were so malnourished and ran down that they didn't want to live no more. So it was like, bro, and it's literally, well, you don't even have to go to the library. All the information's right there. There's literal literature. Like, there are things that Christopher Columbus wrote himself, and he says, I don't know why they're so good to me. Basically stating, like, I don't know, why after seeing what some of the things that I've done, why these people still treat me good. This is his words. This is not mine. Look up Christopher Columbus's literature and read it, and you see that this was a vile, disgusting fucking person. And it's like, I don't want to see this shit. It's frustrating as a person, especially a person of color, when people don't know. I think that white people got cheated too. I think black people and white people are getting cheated because they're not being told the proper history in textbooks. Mm-hmm. Everybody's getting lied to. And the reason why there's so much division is because if everybody understood what really took place, we could just literally move on. Mm-hmm. I think we would be able to effectively move on from what's happening if everybody knew what really happens in this country or what has happened. I think that people like to write it off as that was so long ago. That was so long ago. People need to move on. So wait a minute. Hold on a minute. If I told you, and let's say, for example, your mom was assaulted in the 70s, right? And your mom was assaulted in the 70s, and I told you, dang, well, I mean, she got assaulted in the 70s. That was so long ago, man. You need to move on from that. You would look at me crazy. Mm-hmm. You would look at me crazy if you told me about somebody in your family or in your lineage that was assaulted, that was beaten, that was raped, that was whatever, and I just told you, man, that was a long time ago, man. You got to get over that. Mm-hmm. That's how we feel when motherfuckers do that. We don't even have real names. We're the only people in the United States that don't have real names. Our names were given to us by the people who fucking owned us. McGee is not my real name. Yes, I'm a black American, but the history and the lineage of my name comes from the origin of it is ownership. Mm-hmm. Somebody owned my family, and that's why I have this fucking name. Mm-hmm. Think about Keith's name. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. His last name is Fingers. Mm-hmm. So the Fingers family, it's like probably some white man way back in the day.
Yeah. Got a lot of slaves, too.
Yep, he had a lot of slaves underneath his fingers. I'm not trying to crack a slave joke. I'm sorry. It's not funny. I'm not trying to crack slave jokes. But yeah, I just think it's irresponsible. When I seen this, I just thought it was extremely irresponsible. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be telling kids about, all the intricate details of slavery and the rape and all of that. But I think that there needs to be the truth in doses. I think as kids get older, they need to get more doses of that. Mm-hmm. You want to know why I say that too? Because I don't want to beat this thing down. But the reason why it's important is because there are literal pictures of black men hanging from trees that are burnt, and there are little kids eating sandwiches watching it happen. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not made up. Mm-hmm. And it's not that long ago. Mm-hmm. The lynchings of black men and the after 1920 plus were happening, and there were little kids, and there was a bunch of people that would come to town square and watch black men get burnt alive while they ate snacks. Mm-hmm. And I think if there are kids that are that little that get to watch things like that, I think that in modern times, I'm not saying they need to all see it, but we have to start educating people to the history of this country so they don't walk around and believe every fucking highlight.
Yeah.
Like when you're playing football, every play you make is not a highlight. Sometimes the guy kicks your ass. Sometimes you get pushed down. Sometimes you jump off sides and commit penalties. It doesn't mean you don't make plays. It doesn't mean America hasn't done amazing things. But at the same time, they got a lot of blood on their hands, man. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of motherfucking blood on their hands. Mm-hmm. That's all I got to offer, man. I got nothing else to offer about this.
Yeah. I think the thing I would say is I don't really know. I don't think that the history is going to change anything. I think that the point of view of slavery and the ramifications of it is just a very divisive topic, and I think that the Republicans are doing like a great job of trying to like sweep the seriousness of it under the rug. I think the historical context is important for everybody to know, but I don't know if it's going to change anything. I don't know if it's like whether a white person that is like extremely racist knowing that Tulsa, what that's about is going to change anything. The thing that I would say is like there are things that are happening like in real life, in modern times. There are, just the black man in in Atlanta where he was just going through the neighborhood looking at them the houses that they were building. And
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, like they murdered him, and this is in recent years. Like this is not even in the Tulsa era. So I just think that like they're gonna believe what they want to believe, and I think that this this to me is just, it's just not really serious. I can see how it can grow legs in terms of just, you know, spewing this nonsense out, but it just is so unserious. It's hard for me to even like take this cartoon seriously. Like just even the dialogue that Christopher Columbus is saying, it just sounds like a child wrote it. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like just like it's not that bad. Like that just sounds so stupid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is just like, I pray that is not like a thing that is gonna like really be shown in schools. But at the end of the day, like it's like, it's just stupid. It's a joke. I don't even think that, I don't even think that anybody like a real educator would take that serious. But yeah, I don't know. This is the world we live in. They're getting rid of DEI in certain situations, and I think that when it comes to talking about like the real history of things, like you said, I don't think we necessarily need to talk about like the darkest version of it, but I do think it's important just for people to know. Like if we're learning history, if that's a topic that we have to learn, we have to learn in school anyways, I think that we should learn the real stuff, you know? And I get that it's only, you know, you're only taking U.S. history once, and you might take government, you know, the next year or whatever the case may be, or world history for 1 year. And, you know, we're primarily talking about just different things. But I just think in general, I think we need to you can't tell the history of the world without the transatlantic slave trade. So,
yeah.
And I mean, even outside of that, there's many versions of slavery that have taken place throughout the world. So, but they definitely just, you know, try to keep sweeping that under the rug.
Yeah. Well, look here, man. We got enough slave stories for the day, man.
Did you see the whole Cameron and
I did. I seen that shit. Yeah.
and Omar Gooding thing?
I seen that. Yeah.
This is what I would say. I think that I might have told you this, but I think a lot. I was going to make a video about this, but I just didn't end up doing it. I think that a lot of people. I think what Cameron did is like really corny. I think what Omar Gooding is doing is just like they're both just trying to take advantage of a moment, which is whatever. But I would say, as a creator, as like any sort of content creator out there, I think that this is a situation where we can learn a lot from this, and learning a lot meaning that Cameron said that he paid that man like $3,000 to
like $3,500 to fly him out,
shoot a scene, whatever the case may be. Omar Gooding is like he's not the most popular actor, but he has somewhat of a name. He's been to Bakersfield a few times too, doing comedy and stuff like that. So I say that to say, if you are a creator, if you got a podcast, if you got a short film idea, if you got whatever the content is, just know that some of these people with some decent notoriety are not always like that expensive, you know. So if you got a few $100, a few $1,000, contact their manager and see what their rates are for whatever. Or you can just approach them with a dollar amount. Just be like, hey man, like I got $500, you know, I'm trying to, you know, do this podcast with such and such, and you just might get some traction. So yeah, that's what I learned from this situation.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. Even with the AC blowing in here, it's still, oh my God, it's still getting a little warm. Mm-hmm. All right, let's wrap it up. Well, for anybody that made it,
Christopher Columbus got you warm.
Oh, hey, hold on. You sound crazy. I ain't warm for Christopher Columbus, man. That's crazy work. They said Christopher Columbus must be gay or so. Anyways, if you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy, Kate Binks.
We're out of here.
Peace.